everybody.
This is for your mom. She wanted to see Oliver. He's very shy.
Look, he likes black pussy. Isn't that nice?
I do.
He is cute, though. I'm not going to lie. Kind of acts like a dog a little bit.
Well, yeah, he's only been around me. But there he is. I'm gonna
The star of the show.
Yeah.
That's really the star of the show.
He's our sponsor. It's like, how do I get... Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's like, fuck you, dude. So what's been going on, bud? What's new?
Just wanted to thank everybody for joining us back at the table, sitting down with us once again. We realize everybody's life is really busy. There's a shitload of stuff going on, for everyone worldwide. And then, personally, everybody's got their own shit. But, it's June. It's Florida. Summer's in full swing. My car read it was fucking 99 degrees out today.
Yeah.
It is also game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
How do you feel? Like,
Puck drops at 8, baby.
yeah? You excited?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a sad day when the team isn't good anymore, and then you guys are just going to, be reminiscent of this little win streak. But
Is that what it's like to be a Patriots fan?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Because you're all high and mighty, and then, then the minute, you start dropping, then you're just like, yeah.
Very true.
But it's okay. It's all right. Enjoy it. Take it all in.
Take it all in.
It's very historic. I'm not huge into hockey, but I get it.
But
so I respect it.
You get a taste of it a little bit later. But,
I respect it.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you're joining us. Thank you. But the main thing in June, not hurricane season.
Hurricane season did start, right?
June 1st, yeah.
June 1st, okay.
But it is also Pride Month.
Oh, man, how could we forget that? Wow.
Happy Pride.
Blue went right past me.
To any of our subs that, identify with the LGBT
Q plus
community.
Yeah.
You're loving this. But yeah, it's June 25th on St. Pete waterfront. Just go to the Vinoy. It starts at 2 p.m., runs through till 10 p.m. I would get there early, bring some sunscreen because it's gonna be hot.
Oh, that's Florida.
That's
Pride
the parade.
Of the parade. Okay.
Yeah, there are events going on every, Monday through Friday.
Right.
In St. Pete.
Yeah.
But the parade, which is the big one, will be on the 25th.
Why do you think, it's June in particular? Like why June?
I have no idea.
So
I really don't know.
Because, okay, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know, too much of that, lifestyle and stuff like that. So I did a little research, and, I wanted to know if it, really meant something more than just, having sex with the same, sex, whatever. But there is a deeper meaning to it. And apparently, so the first one was held on June 28th, 1970. And it was a 1-year anniversary after the Stonewall riots. And apparently that's when men of the gay community clashed with police who they had rounded them up in a place called Stonewall Inn in Manhattan. And so that's kind of how it started. So there's a little bit... Yeah, so there's a little deeper meaning to it, which I could appreciate.
Right, because I know that Harvey Milk had the senator, the openly gay politician. I don't know if he's senator or mayor. Sean Penn played him in that movie.
What movie?
Milk.
Oh, Milk? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that movie. But it was in
77, to have a parade or something was a place, where people, homosexuals could be feeling safe. And seeing as that happened 7 years prior, then
right,
you're getting rolled on, just walking down the street just because.
But now in today's world, I feel it's kind of it's not as genuine as it once was, from my perspective. I don't feel it's as genuine.
What do you mean?
So, so now we have a corporation aspect behind it, to where now corporations, just because that they change their logos to rainbow colors, that they give the appearance like they fully support, and it's just a marketing ploy. It's just a way to, bank money on that and all that stuff. So that part to me feels a little, but I guess that could be any movement now. I mean, there's always a corporation.
It's good press. It's good press.
Right.
The only ones you'll ever really hear about are people or companies that don't. Like Chick-fil-A. When that whole thing first started, and everybody's...
Yeah, but it's kind of... I mean, it's not like Chick-fil-A's really losing money.
No.
Right? And it's...
They're not getting any from me, but, I mean, that's the dice you roll.
But that's every company's right.
Their beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter if you agree with it. That's their belief. You know how I feel about that. And if you've seen our videos, you know how I feel about that. But have at it.
But, yeah, I mean...
Bless this chicken for it is sin.
So besides the corporation aspect to it, now we get into the identity aspect of it, to where now it's no longer just men and women. Now we have, and I looked it up. They're claiming to be around 245 different genders now. Gender identities, and then that all groups into the Gay Pride Month and the LGBTQ plus.
Right, that's how you end up with.
Right,
I've even heard some comments from people in the gay community that are like, yeah, that's like it's getting wordy. Like, people are like calling us the alphabet people. Like, everyone's welcome, but like, there's a limit on how much we're gonna be like. Like, you have the rainbow thing, like this, here's a spectrum. Like, when I was in high school, they had what was called the Gay Straight Alliance. And it was a pink...
In school?
Yeah. It was a club. An after-school club. Yeah, it's in the yearbook. And there were maybe, like, 10 people in it. And my AP Human Geography's teacher was the teacher in charge of it. And she was very, on the socially conscious. She was a bit liberal, so I'm sure that was her brainchild. But you know what? For the students that, were involved in it, I'm sure it did some good for them to have somebody at that point in high school, to talk to, because it might not be so easy at home or even with friends or things of that nature. But I always remember the symbol being a pink triangle. I don't know. And then, because the rainbow thing was, it's a spectrum.
You know what color they're missing? Black.
That got added to the Philadelphia flag.
Oh.
Because the Philly one's got black and brown at the top.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying.
There are a multitude of flags as well.
But and again, I'm not against, like, the gays and, like, you... Listen, life's too short. You do whatever you want. But I'm just, from an outsider, what I'm seeing is, especially nowadays, a lot of these people, how they identify, a lot of it's a joke. Like being
an opportunist and taking advantage of
exactly
a loophole, like a technicality.
I identify as a wolf, so I'm going to be in the gay pride thing, and I'm only attracted to fucking aliens or whatever the fuck, so I'm going to be in the gay pride march. Like, do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
and so when you see shit like that, it just doesn't feel as genuine.
Right.
And I'm not even touching it as in a religious aspect, because, like I said, life's too short.
There is a saying, because I found, because I am empathetic to a fault at some point.
Yeah.
And the saying always goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Mm. And like I said, y'all know how I feel about that. But
right.
I get what it means, because then you're opening the door. There are some people, like you said, that could be just flat out exploiting that.
And that's kind of...
using it to their advantage, just to be like...
Yeah. It's just really, really odd. Like, for instance, like, I can't tell you how many videos or clips I'll see of TikTok. And since you were bringing up school, of these teachers to feel the need that they need to tell their students their sexual preference, how they identify, and so, and I find
whether
it,
they're straight or not, like, or is it only
it's only
gay teachers?
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm just like, do you really need to tell your sixth graders that? What does that have to do with anything?
I could see like a parent-teacher night.
No, this isn't a parent-teacher night.
I get that, but I could see how it could come up in the future. And, like,
but what?
I know,
Why?
because parents don't talk to their stupid kids.
Hold on, huh?
And I know, I don't have kids. Talk to your dumb kids.
This
happens.
It's 2022.
I know.
And no one really cares if you're gay or, like, do you?
To a point, I get what you mean. So, like, socially,
but why are we telling kids? Why?
I don't...
Is that necessary?
Because maybe they got questions. Because, look, even when I was a kid, there's several neighbors that lived down the street. One guy, we loved going to his house for Halloween every year. It was a riot because when we opened the door, and I'm a kid, I'm like 5, 6 years old. He's dressed like a witch every year. And he had king-size candy bars. His name was Cub. Cub lived alone.
Cub?
Cub. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Right. I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea. I'm a kid. My parents never talked to me about that shit until I was older. And they're like, oh, yeah, Cub's gay. He moved into the... I'm like, the name... Oh, my... I get it. And then he dressed up like a witch.
So what, you would have felt better if he came and sat you down and said, hey, I just want to let you know.
No, but like, okay, someone moved into the house next door. It was a gay couple. Tim and Brian were their names.
Okay.
And they lived next door to my childhood best friend who... when we saw them, I was like, oh, who's your new neighbors? He goes, oh, that's Tim and Brian. I was like, because they're like adult men living in this, in our street. And I was just like, I'd never seen that before. And he goes, yeah, my parents said they're roommates. So then I just started thinking they're roommates. Yeah. And I mentioned that, like, I was not corrected by anybody. That's what I mean. Like, explain that, because then you have confusion. Now, I was accepting once I, like, realized. And I was
what age were you around that time?
Maybe like 10, 11 years old.
Okay. All right. So...
That's middle school.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I just find it odd that, because I'm seeing third grade teachers do it, fifth grade teachers do it. It's just like, it gets to a point where it's like...
I can understand what you mean. Like,
if
they
you're
don't
bring
really
it up,
need to talk
it
about
needs to, right.
who they like to fuck.
So what, if I'm a teacher, I
identify as a heterosexual male.
Yeah, and I
love
like
the pussy.
And I like to fuck blonde chicks. Just
now,
so
if you turn to page 3,
yeah,
look at this
before we
graph.
start, I really just needed to get off my chest that I really like to fuck blondes.
I mean, there's health class in high school. I kind of get that. High school seems a bit more appropriate. Yeah. To have those conversations. I still feel like parents should really be talking to their kids about it. I didn't get the talk.
Oh, I have. Oh,
I didn't get the talk.
I got shit to
Dude, I didn't get the talk. My discovery was pornography.
Oh,
we found porno mags in the woods near our house, which means some homeless guy was, cranking it to him.
Oh, man, those were good times,
That's
man.
gross.
The porno
mags.
mags.
The fact that I was, looking at those.
The porno mags.
Yeah. And then we discovered Google was just coming out, and my buddy was like, dude, if you go to images, you type in boobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Isn't that a funny progression? Like,
this is amazing. And then my dad was getting... some kind of software installed, and they needed to flush the computer. Oh, guess who didn't know how to clear search history and delete cookies? Yeah. This guy. Yeah. And I overreacted. It was me and my sister. My dad sat us both down and was like, okay, well, we're cleaning out the computer and everything, and it shows us everywhere that the computer has been.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
It's been everywhere. It's been everywhere.
And then he's like, it's come to my attention. It was like the FBI's sweating me down. That there's...
think about kids...
Someone watching pornographic things and adult websites, and immediately, like, I over-the-top lie about it. Like, I was just like, ew! Like, my sister didn't react at all, and I'm like, thinking I'm really selling it. I was like, this fucking idiot.
It must be that slut over there. It's not me. But see, and that's a progression that, like, kids these days won't even, like, have. Like, they'll, you know what I mean? Like, we went from, it was the magazines too. And then when internet was just started getting popular,
it was a VHS tape or something.
Yeah,
you ever find a blank one, you think it's a home video,
yeah,
pop
DVD,
it in, it's
DVDs.
taped over.
You had that. Then when you use the internet, it was just still images, and then you went from that to movies, and then it's game
LimeWire.
It's game over.
I wasn't
from there.
just downloading music,
right? Well, even though it said music at first,
you got to rename the file.
Right.
You got to rename the file.
Right.
But,
so, but
we
yeah,
give our computer aids.
When it comes to
porn.
when it comes to stuff like that, I just that's when I just start looking at that whole movement and stuff in a different light, because I'm just like I said,
a lot of the sexualities that are represented, I can't sit there and say I get it, because I'm not that.
Right.
But it makes sense. Like, it's understandable. Like, gay man, okay? I'm a guy. I'm attracted to other guys that also are attracted to other guys.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't, but I'm like,
right.
Okay. Lesbians. I'm a chick. Like other chicks that like other chicks. Get it.
It's pretty hot, yeah.
Right. I like chicks that like other chicks too.
Yeah. It's hot. Who doesn't?
Means she likes what I do.
Right.
Bisexuals. That took a moment. I'll admit. Through high school, I met a few people, and I'm like, they're like, that song?
They just fuck anything, yeah.
I do both Jay and Jane. They make me feel the same.
There you go.
But long-term relationships with both sexes, and I'm like, okay, it's been observed. It's not like I'm going around saying
right.
it.
So now, but hold
right.
on.
Now
so then you had gay, straight, and bisexual. Well, now today you have over 240.
Yeah.
And over those 240, each one has their own flag, their own image symbol for each one,
okay.
And it's just like, give me a break, man. You know what I mean? And at some point, I'm just like, I can't get.
I've never felt like I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. Okay? I've never felt that. I do carry with me a lot of I have feminine traits. I'm aware of that.
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah. But, we just accept it.
I pluck my eyebrows and I've been mistaken for gay once or twice. A couple times.
Yeah, I haven't, so.
Yeah. And it didn't bother me at first.
Well,
and then I thought about it, and it started to bother me. And then I started to think later, I'm like, why does that bother me? You don't.
You just like the attention. That's all.
I don't hate the attention.
By anybody, even if it's a dude saying, "Damn, you look."
Oh yeah.
You look good. Like.
Yeah. Even my straight friends do.
Yeah,
you
do
that all the time, bro.
You just want the attention.
Yeah. But even one of my roommates was a gay man. For 3.5 years when I was with my previous ex, it was her best friend, Kevin. And Kevin just became like my gay big brother. Like the first night I went up there, she was so nervous that she got too drunk and fell asleep. So I just hung out with Kevin the whole time.
Yeah.
And I bounced questions off of him like no tomorrow. Because that's the only way you're going to get to some level of understanding, because you're not going to be able to fully get it because you aren't that. You don't exist that way, or you don't feel that way. You don't have that.
Right.
So I was looking from the world through his eyes, and I was like, okay. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. And it
but
started
at some
to bother
point,
me a little bit more when people were anti-gay. It's just sort of like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
But I get what you mean when, in the movement itself, all these different areas of marginalized people. Like, now I'm marginalized this way, but I'm like this. I'm like this, but I'm only different in this way. And I'm like that, but I'm only different in that way and that way and that way. It reminds me a lot of religions, for one. How many subsects of Christianity are there? There's a bajillion. There's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It's like we believe all of this, but not that quite that, and not quite that, and not. Isn't it interesting that the people that are at odds with each other like that are exhibiting similar behaviors?
Yeah. But again, and you have to keep breaking it down to different levels, because now they identify as, they want to be called different pronouns now, and then if you don't call them by a certain pronoun, then you're sexist, you're homophobic, you should be in trouble because you didn't call the person she, her if it looks like a dude. Like, you know
right.
what I mean?
I do still feel that you should be able to speak your own truth. Like I'm the type of person to play ball. You know what I mean? But not everyone is. You can't go out into the world and expect everyone to play along. For me, it just seems easier. It just seems easier. And I've had conversations with people that don't know what to call this person that identifies as they. But you
can correct them, but not just automatically assume that they know your pronouns, and if they misidentify you, even though
I've been misidentified when I had my long hair.
Yeah,
from behind, excuse me, miss. And I turned around like, oh.
Oh, man, yeah, you're right.
Shit happens. I didn't blow up, I laughed.
But there's just a point where it just becomes ridiculous. And
right, you're not a dog. There's puppy pride.
Yeah.
In the list of things.
There's
appliances.
That's a kink.
Like, if you're into that kind of stuff and leather and rubber, there's rubber pride. If you're into that, that's cool. A lot of people are. A lot of people that are straight are into shit like that too.
Just because you have an interest in something doesn't mean that it's a
right. Your kink is not
an identity, and then I'm gonna bring it into gay pride.
Right. You don't go into work with that muzzle on and start going to your boss. It doesn't. It's not really. It doesn't work well. Unless you work at Purina.
But that's fine.
Might work.
If you want to go home and do that, that's your business.
Yeah.
But why?
It don't have to be vanilla sex. We're down. Yeah, go nuts.
But here's my thing. Okay.
What, to be like legally represented as a thing?
Yeah.
Is that what?
It's. At some point, I'm just like, we're just going down a fucking deep hole where, I mean, nothing makes sense anymore.
You want to know how deep that rabbit hole can get?
Yeah.
I heard about something today, and I want you to tell me what you think it is just by what it sounds like, because I had a totally different idea in my head other than what it is defined as. All right. Transabled. What do you think that means?
They're able to pass as whatever they're transitioning to.
See, I thought transabled was a play on like handy capable. So I thought like
it's a
instead of disabled,
trans,
right?
It's a handicap.
Right, that's what I thought. It was like, so not only are you trans, so you should just be in the T, but now you're in TA, transabled, because you have this on top of it. It's another subsect. But it's not that. This is where it gets weird. People who identify as being disabled.
What? That's it?
Yeah. And it went to the lengths of a girl that poured bleach into her eyes and blinded herself permanently because she felt on the inside that she was blind. That's a problem.
This is why.
That's not a sexuality. That's an issue. Like, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Otherwise, all hell breaks loose.
This is why America's a joke. Because of shit like this. We're blinding ourselves because we feel we're a blind person, or I'm gonna act and dress like a dog. Okay? And that's how I want to be addressed.
But you know what? I'll play ball with that.
But guess what? That it doesn't work like that. However,
works for me, stud muffin.
Please. But on that side, if you don't call them by their pronouns, then you're transphobic, you're gay phobic.
I don't like
and I just don't.
Beefcake brings up a good point. transphobic. Okay, if you tell jokes about trans, like Dave Chappelle, that's not being transphobic. If you were freaked out, like,
No, there's
if you're freaked out by their existence and you kind of they make you uncomfortable and shit like that, okay, yeah, that's a bit transphobic. Like, you don't want to touch them, and want to, like, it really weirds you out, that's transphobic. But to just disagree with what they're doing doesn't make you transphobic. Because, I mean, phobia is a fear.
Well,
I'm not afraid. I mean, maybe if you got long nails. I was introduced by Twisted Sister to the whole, drag, and I mean, they called it cross-dressing at that time, and even in Rocky Horror Picture Show, what would they say now on stage? Because transvestite is apparently a bit too extra now. That's offensive. I don't know why. Tim Curry's singing it. Just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Great movie.
Yeah, sounds like it.
There's a light on.
So, here's a little hypocrisy that I want to bring up. So, we have all these different identities. We have all these different types of genders, non-binary, trans, animals, aliens, whatever the fuck. Well, it's funny because science says that there's two genders.
I see what you're doing.
Right? Right? That's what science says. Last time I checked. But those people are telling us, don't believe in science. There's more than two genders. But believe in the science when it comes to anything about COVID or the vaccines.
It's identity politics.
That's all I'm saying.
It's identity politics.
It's becoming a joke.
You need to go with the herd.
It's becoming a joke.
Or you will be cast out.
I have been.
Look at what they did to Dave Chappelle's friend. She killed herself because she stood up and was a trans woman.
Look,
got dragged through the mud by her own people.
I don't care if you want to transition, if you want to, whoever you want to fuck. That's your preference.
But a lot of people have a problem with it.
Well, because they're not keeping it to like themselves. They feel the need that they need to lecture people and hold on.
Right,
and if they don't accept or want to be involved in their lifestyle, then they're the problems. They're like it's becoming a weird thing to where, and listen, it's in our school systems. I don't know by what percentage, but it's happening to where they're feeling that they need to teach these kids, let them know what they identify as and their sexual preferences and what they like to do on the weekends and shit. And I gotta tell you, and this especially in California, since it's Gay Pride Month, and other states do it as well. Okay, all these I'm seeing kids in fucking drag shows. Okay, I'm seeing kids dress up as drag queens. Dancing with the drag. I'm seeing kids, young girls, putting dollars, and that's a fucking problem.
That's a problem.
Okay? That's a fucking problem. And you go, oh, well, the parents, they should step in and oh, no.
Parents are with them.
The parents are fucking taking their kids there.
Parents are there. I heard about that. It was somewhere in Texas. All right. Let's rewind that for a second. Okay. I don't think it's a problem to talk to your kid. Once again, talk to your kids. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, no, talk to your kids. Don't take them to a fucking drag queen show.
Cub's a perfect example.
At 6.
Right.
Why?
But they never explained that to me. We just thought it was funny because he's a guy and he's dressing up like a witch. I'm 5, 6 years old, so it's funny. Right. But maybe, it would be like, well, some guys do that. And maybe it wouldn't have been, as I got older, being like, oh, and I've been to drag shows. I've been to gay clubs. Going out with them when they lived in Orlando especially. Parliament House and Southern Nights. I was there that weekend when the Pulse shooting happened. And...
which cops did a great job, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Who started out there.
But she had 2 roommates there. It was Kevin and Anthony. They both grew up in Philly. And Anthony kind of helped Kevin come out himself. Because Kevin... he went through the military, conservative family, played football through high school, loved all that shit, but he's gay. You know what I mean?
And at the end of the day,
but no one
who cares?
He's told me stories that a lot of people didn't, but it upset him, because he'd form a friendship with a guy, even if he's not attracted to him. And then if it came out, when it comes out, and they're just weirder with him now. I know, but it happens.
But I'm telling you, I know it happens, but in just the overall scheme of things, in today's society, it's not that big of a fucking deal.
Well, for a lot of people it can be, whether it's talking to their parents about it, whether it's talking to friends about it, for those reasons. So...
But it's okay if people don't agree. Like, people don't... Listen, you think everyone agrees with me? You think I'm everybody's cup of tea? No.
You're my shot of tequila, bud.
But should I just fucking go on a tear, and if people don't like me, I demand them to get fired, and what? Say that they're fatphobic, and all this other shit? I mean, at what point do we just wake the fuck up and be like, enough's enough?
Well,
and when shit like this is going down, this is where regular people like me get frustrated at that movement. Right. Because the true gay people aren't doing anything about it. They're letting all this noise and all this shenanigans come in and ruin their true thing of what they stand for.
Right. Like, well, I mean, that kind of brings back to the Hypocrisy episode of letting Leah Thomas, formerly known as Will Thomas, compete in the swimming competitions and destroying everybody.
Yeah.
Like how you brought that, like okay, yay all women, but
so
obviously that's not right.
How serious can we take it? To where I can just say I'm a girl right now, and you have to, and I can go play women's sports.
Let's go do roller derby. I'd get my ass kicked. You'd be all right.
But this is what I'm saying. Like,
I'm
we're
too
not
fragile.
even being serious about it. And a snap of a finger now, in today's world, you can change your identity to whatever you want.
Right.
That's a fucking problem.
I can agree with that.
That's a problem.
Because there are opportunists that don't really feel that way, and they'll just use it for their advantage. And
now we have celebrities involved, like the great Christina Aguilera, wearing a big green fucking strap on, performing in front of, when there's kids in the fucking... Why?
Right, okay.
Why?
Right, thank you for bringing that back up. I wanted to get back to the drag thing, because like I said, been to gay clubs, there's been drag shows there, I've been to Hamburger Mary's on a couple of occasions. It's a great time. It's not a place for children. It's an adult show. You
don't take your kids to a strip club, right?
It's not exactly. It's not you would be arrested immediately.
Oh, but you can take it to drag shows and all this other shit.
I didn't have so much of a problem with them reading to kids. If it's story time, whoever's reading to the fucking kid, don't cut me off. I'm almost there. You can chime in. I know you're ready to pounce on that. All right, but that. What's it called? Drag your kids to brunch. It's some place in Texas held this. Like you said, the parents take their kids out. It's brunch. It's being held at a gay club, and the kids are tipping the drag queens. I'm waiting for that term to become offensive, because you can't say cross-dressers. Apparently, it's got to be a drag queen.
Oh yeah.
So wait till drag queen becomes offensive, but they'll come up with something else. But there's a big neon, mom and dad are having cocktails, but there's a big neon sign in the background that says, "It ain't gonna lick itself." That's overtly sexual. Like, have I been to the shows? It's hilarious. They're shaking their ass. I know it's a dude. He's good at it. My mom got me with that once on a newspaper. I might have been like 14, 15 years old in high school. And shows me, it looks like the winner of a beauty pageant. And look, it was a blonde. Hot blonde on the cover. She's like, "Get a load of this." And I was like, wow, yeah. She just leans in. She goes, "That's a boy." It was a transgender pageant thing. And I just looked. I was like, pretty boy. Like, damn, you fucking got me. Like, I mean, I get it. I've been asked that before. What if you met some chick at a bar and, like, went back to a hotel and then all of a sudden, like, just whips out a dick? I'd be like,
thanks, but no thanks.
Right. That's all it has to be. But I've heard some people respond to that scenario with violent answers. Like, that is weird. And that's why I was like, my answer would be like, yo, first of all, you were like the Mac Daddy of trans. Secondly, very impressive.
But
Good birth on that. Thirdly, you shouldn't really be going out doing this, and you should be more forthcoming and honest, because there are crazy fucking people out there.
Right, but you need to be forthcoming, because
yes, you need to let
some people
what's up.
Really don't like that idea, and if they wait till last minute, and I'm not saying it's a reason to act like that,
but some people will react that way.
Right,
clearly, from what the responses I heard.
But if you just told them while you were at the bar,
you'd be like,
guess what? You could have avoided that.
Right, and then you just pull up, and you're like,
But again,
dude, where's my car?
When I see all this going around, I have just came to terms that there are no real men left in this world. Because the fathers, they're nowhere to be found.
Father's Day's this Sunday.
They either accept it, or they're part of the drag show, or the parents are failing, and now we're just oversaturated with all these different pronouns and identities, to where, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because I sent it to you, and for anybody who hasn't seen it, you can easily watch it on YouTube, and they won't pull this down, but if you have questions about COVID or vaccines, they'll shut your channel down, but this is okay. Postmates has a great commercial for Pride Month. It was funny. I found it disturbing.
It was cute until I realized what was going on.
Yeah, no. Not a fan. No. Why? Just the brief point of it, people need to watch it. But it's pretty much, they're telling you they're telling you how you can they have a list of foods that you should eat if you're a bottom, if you're a receiver,
otter.
Yeah, and Postmates will deliver it. When I just see shit like that, that's just when I get pissed off with that movement.
It gets beefcake really hot under the collar.
It does. We can't protect our children when it comes to shootings, but hey, when it comes to drag shows, gay parades, hey, bring them on in, dude. Bring them on in.
You should.
And parents are deciding now, choosing their identity. Like, if they come out a boy, no, he's really a girl.
Well, and here's the thing. Yeah, don't jump the gun on that, because I knew a kid in first grade, and he must have worn, because he had a younger sister, must have worn her underwear, because we were all changing for PE, and he had girls' underwear on, and we all laughed at him. We're all 5, 6 years old. We're all, like, laughing at him. And he screamed, he used to bring in his Easy Bake Oven for show and tell. Like, none of us fucking understood what was going on. And it was Catholic school, for Christ's sake. And he, in that moment, we were all laughing at him, and we were all 6 years old, he just exclaimed, I wish I was born a girl. Right. In high school, he came out as gay. Sometimes it's not, he's trans, or he's this, it's that. Sometimes they're just gay. Let the kids
and that's
find
fine.
out. Right.
Fine.
Let them find their path. Just support them as best you can with love and some level of understanding. There needs to be a line, like you said. I can't sit there and be like, Mom, Dad, I'm a rock. I'm not doing any of my chores today. Like, shut the fuck up, kid. Like, you're pissing me off. Like, I get that. But...
And listen, and there's just so much... I mean, we're seeing Target selling the straps to flatten your boobs for young girls, and stuff for the boys to hide their junk.
Look, my parents pushed shit like that on me when I was, is that your girlfriend? Oh, you can go kissy. That made me uncomfortable. Like, stop talking to like shit like that to your kids. Because what does kissing lead to? More hugging and touching, which eventually leads to fucking. Children don't understand that. We're not sexual beings until you're going through adolescence. Parents, so even like that, like how you said, don't take your kid to a strip club either, for the same fucking reasons.
Parents have really dropped the ball.
My dad sat me and my sister down and said, look at all the websites that I found. Shouldn't be looking at this. I don't care who it is. He knew it was me. It never was talked about until this day, actually. It was never talked about. But right there, This is inappropriate for children. Even though it was straight people having sex that I was looking at, it did not matter.
Parents have dropped the ball.
That's a good dad.
Parents have dropped the ball big time. And not only that, but I'm not saying this for, but I feel that mental illness is playing a huge part of this as well.
And May was in that Mental Health Awareness Month in general.
I think so, but it's a problem, and it's not just with this. It's with shootings. We don't want to talk about it. We're not addressing that, and look at what's going on in the fucking world. Let's all just have a real conversation. Not everybody's transphobic or all this other fucking shit.
Some of you are afraid of what you are, because that's why some feel the need to take such drastic measures in order to change. Maybe you're a little bit afraid of. Yeah, they say you're assigned this at birth. I don't like that, because it makes me think like it's a religious thing, like God's got a checklist. Was I assigned to be skinny and tall? Science, I just kind of came out that way.
But science says that there are only two genders because of the different chromosomes, correct?
It's in your bones. It's in your DNA. That's how you can pull people out. Right. That's how the skull, in our conspiracy theories episode, they found out that it was a woman's skull, not Hitler's.
Right.
How you guys brought that up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's that. Long after you're gone, they're not going to look at your skull and be like, this person identified as so-and-so.
As a puppy.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. So, you're allowed, like I said, people should be allowed to speak their truths, even the wild ones. And that's what, I guess, pride in this freedom of expression allows them to do. So, I support it. I'm all for it. I mean, look, that aside, how you said no one in the gay community that you see is really speaking out or drawing a line. I got one. Dr. Erica Anderson is a 71-year-old clinical psychologist who is a transgender woman. Now says, I think it's gone too far. From the LA Times says, she's come to believe that some children identifying as trans are falling under the influence of their peers in social media. Once again, once you get, like, don't make children make these decisions. Like, I wanted to be G.I. Joe. There was a good week I wanted to be Indiana Jones after I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And we're not even bringing up how many people who transition to whatever gender regret that choice. I
haven't seen that.
I'm
sure it happens.
That happens.
That would suck. That's worse than getting a bad tattoo.
And again, we shouldn't be letting young kids have bottom surgeries. We shouldn't be doing
And you shouldn't be pandering as corporations either. As you can see, same backdrop.
Yeah, we didn't put a rainbow backdrop.
We didn't change our logo, even though I identify as an ally. Some people, I don't know what they
look.
believe.
I don't,
because that's just pandering. It's such a weak move. The marketing ploy, like you said.
And again, I don't care who what you do. Like you do you. But
I mean, we would never pander like that. We wouldn't do it.
You're one of them. Unbelievable. I'm unbelievable.
Look. I got this because I was there at Lake Eola for the candlelight vigil the day after Pulse with them. And I just wanted to take a moment and say that if you are struggling with either coming out, to anyone, at H7OsBIN, I'm putting out my own personal Instagram handle. You can talk to me. I will talk to you. I'll talk to you. You can tell me. It's totally cool. It's safe. It's a safe place.
I'm safe with you.
You're safe with me. Oliver is safe. It's fine. No one really has to be to it. Like how he said, it's so socially acceptable now. But like I said, with the peers and parents, that's got to be stressful.
Parents need to step the fuck up.
Parents need to step up.
Honestly.
Be okay with your kids.
Stop this bullshit. Ridiculous.
Will's fired up. I'm about to get fired up to watch the hockey game. Game 1 is underway now. Puck dropped at 8, but we're only like 30 minutes into the game. Like I said, thank you all for coming back. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Drop us a like.
Follow us on
Appreciate it.
Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram at the Let It Eat Podcast. And like I said, if you want someone to talk to about, anything like that, feeling kind of weird, H7OsBIN. Woo, man.
Don't quit your day job.
# we love. I haven't yet.
Oh, boy.